Hello, it's Miss K again, ready for week 4 of our trumpet lessons. So I hope you've been playing and practicing and trying out new things. Today we're going to do a warm-up starting page 16 in the Team Brass book. And then we're going to look at F sharp that I think we looked at last week on page 24, and I'm going to introduce page 25 as well. First of all, actually before we do the slurs, can you look at page 17? The note A, we know that note really well, but on the right there's a grid here. Let me just show you, I'm talking about this grid here with all those notes on it. And to warm up, I'd just like you to play some of those notes in any order you like, and I'm going to do it as well. So we might have a happy accident of playing the same note at the same time, or they might be completely different notes all the time. See what they sound like when we're playing them together. It might be a nice sound, it might be a clashy sound, but always make your notes sound as lovely as possible. We're looking for a beautiful sound, that's the main thing. So first of all, just let's do any order you like. We're going to do like about 6 long notes together. So you can watch me, you can breathe when I breathe, and you can pick any note you like from that grid. Here we go. Next one. You can carry on playing long notes, or as it suggests, you can play these notes using varied rhythm patterns or different rhythm patterns. And these all spell words actually. Look, the first line going across spells F-A-D, spells fad. Fad is a kind of just a thing that people do. The second line is ace, number 1, and ace. Next one is dad, the last one is egg. And if you go down, you've also got some words. So you've got F-A-D-E. If I play those in order, what does that spell? Fade. Shall we play them loud and then fade away? Let's do it together. So we're changing the dynamics by doing that. But you can make up some rhythms. So let's use those fade notes again, F-A-D-E, and make up some rhythm patterns. Of course, mine will be different to yours, so let's make something up. I'll tell you what, I'll do something, then I'll leave a gap, and you can do it. So here I go. Your turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Last time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So we've had a warm up and we've made up our own thing already. And next time we meet, I'll be really interested to hear some of the tunes that you've had a go at making up over this time. Now let's go to page 16. Where we've got some slurs, and we've done these before, so let's look at number 5, where we take this pattern, starts on C to G, which is all open, no fingers, that's why it says open over the top. The second one uses the second valve. Now don't forget, when we put down the second valve, it adds on this little bit of tubing here, connected to the second valve. So what you're doing here is adding on that little bit of tubing, so you're making the instrument bigger, therefore a little bit lower, and we call that a semitone in music. This is G. It's gone down half a step, or a semitone. When we go to the F, it adds on, with our first valve down, adds on this slightly longer piece of tubing. So this is twice as long as this one. So we go down a little bit further, a whole tone. So from G, F sharp, F. 1 and 2 be a bit lower because we're adding those two together, making the whole trumpet longer. Then we go to 2 and 3. It's not written in, but that would be next. And when we have all of our 3 fingers down, we've added on all the extra tubing we can, this long one and the 2 shorter ones. So that's how the trumpet works, by making the instrument longer and shorter. Right, so let's do number 5. So first of all, open, second valve, first and second, and that takes us down to low A. Here we go, from C to G. 1, 2, 3, 4. Should get your lips buzzing and nice and warm. If you couldn't do it as fast as me, just pause the video and practice it on your own. But do this every time you play, because it really, really warms you up. Let's do our scale. How high can we go? I think we can go all the way up to C, can't we? So I'll play it first, or you can join in with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quite fast, but I reckon you can do that. I took a breath halfway down, which wasn't really the best place. I should have taken it after the top C. So let's do it together again. 1, and breathe after the top C. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you can do it like that when I see you next time, I'll be really pleased. Okay. Last week we looked at F sharp on page 24. I'm assuming that you're still practicing Sleigh Ride and it's starting to sound really good. And when I see you again, you can play Sleigh Ride for me, perhaps with the CD. We're looking at F sharp, and last week we talked about this hashtag symbol or sign, which in the music room is called a sharp, not a hashtag. And this, like it says here, on the top of page 24, this raises the pitch of a note by a semitone. Now we just use that word semitone, talking about the half step going between G and F sharp. So there it is. Instead of F, which is the long tube here, if we go to F sharp using the second valve, we're only using the short tube here. Therefore the whole trumpet's a little bit smaller. Therefore the note goes up in pitch. So here's F, and here's F sharp. So hear the difference between F and F sharp. And again, you've got a grid here at the top of the page where you can practice playing those notes and making something up. Yeah, so add F sharp into your bank of notes. You can make something up. Play these notes using varied rhythm patterns or mixed up rhythm patterns. It's a bit of a mad tune if you just play them all in that order. But have fun, make something up, be creative, and get used to the sound and the feel of all of those different notes. Now let's look at the Cuckoo. Now the Cuckoo is the main tune on this page. And we talked about this last week, the sound of the cuckoo, cuckoo, and the difference between the F sharp on the top line and the F on the second line, where the cuckoo goes away and it's a bit sad. So that's what we call a minor scale or a minor key, and then when we get back to the top line, it's a major key or a major sound, which is much happier. Now this week I'm going to play the tune for you with the backing track, and it's quite fast, but this is a demonstration, so if you can get this up to speed by the time I see you again, that would be really impressive. Don't forget that when we play this song, we play the first line twice, because there's a repeat mark, the double line with the 2 dots, a repeat mark or repeat sign at the end of the first line. So you play the first line twice, then we play the second line once, and at the end of the second line it says da capo al fine. Remember, not fine. Fine, it means finish. These are Italian words. Capo means the top or the head. So go back to the top and finish at the bar marked fine, which is here on the end of the second line. Can you see that? Fine. So da capo, D, C, al fine, back to the beginning and do the top line again. So top line twice, second line once, top line again. You've also got one other instruction at the beginning of each line in brackets. The first one says loud and the second one says soft. So I want you to listen to this performance and see if you can hear the difference between me playing it loud and happy and the soft and a bit more sad. Okay, so I'm going to put the backing track on. Here we go. 4 clicks. 1, 2, 3. Going off there. Good. Could you hear the changes between the loud first part and the soft second part? What do we call that? Do you remember that word? For loud and soft, beginning with D, the word is dynamics. Dynamics, loud and soft, or getting louder or getting softer. And that's the kind of thing that can make a tune really interesting. Don't forget. So when you're practicing this song, without the CD first, because it is quite fast, so when you're practicing this song, try and put the dynamics in as well, because they'll help you get the feeling of the song. The happy bit is loud and the sad bit's a bit quieter. Okay, at the bottom, play by ear, we have, don't forget, we have the Saints Go Marching In, starting on D. Now if we start on D, we're not on C. C is not our home note, D is our home note. And that's why we have to have the F sharp, otherwise the notes won't sound right. So I wonder if you've managed to work out how to play the Saints Go Marching In, starting on D. If you have, maybe you can play it with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. D is our home note, and we used F sharp all the way through. So have a play around with that. The other tune here underneath play by ear. This so this is the Saints Go Marching In. Da, 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 da. This one here is probably not a tune that you will recognise, but instead of trying to, well, you could make up your own continuation, couldn't you? So it goes like this. How could you continue that and turn it into something? If you thought about that as a question phrase, what might come afterwards? And remember, what's our home note going to be? Home note is going to be D, probably. You might hear a different home note. You might feel that it wants to end up somewhere else. So I'm just going to make up something to follow that. I'll play that again as a question, and then I'll make up an answer. Let's see. Did that sound right? Finishing on D. D was our home note. So that was a very simple question answer. If you remember back about the difference between a question and answer, if I do an answer that doesn't sound quite finished, that would imply that we carry on a bit longer. So here, this time I'm going to do question, answer, not quite finished, another question or maybe the same one, and then the finished answer. And by doing that, I've made my tune longer. So here we go, it's the beginning again. So that made it into a 4-bar tune. 8-bar actually, sorry, 2-bar. Question, answer, question, answer. So that's the way to build up a longer tune. And you could write it down if you came up with something that you really like. Just write it down using a grid like this maybe, or record it. Record it and play it to me next time I see you. Okay, last thing. Next week we're going to look at page 25. Nothing new, but practicing using F sharp and F natural in the Austrian holiday tune. This one, Austrian holiday. You've also got some more slurs, Slavic slurs. Slavic being Eastern European in sound. So I'm going to finish off by playing the Slavic slurs, just like the slurs we did on page 16, but starting on B. Don't forget the F sharps, because this key signature tells you that whenever you get the sharp at the beginning of the song, right on the top line, I'll talk about this again next week, it means all the sharps, all the Fs are sharp. So just take my word for that and I'll explain it again next week. Here we go, Slavic slurs, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's kind of, do you think that's happy or sad? Quite a sad tune, I think. So it ends on a B. B is that home note, B minor. Be careful of the length of the notes, the duration, the length of the notes, because most of the notes are quite long. So there you go. Next week we will do more on 24, 25 and maybe even look ahead. So I'll see you then. Bye bye.